Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, I'm sheltering for my life. Madagascar's president says that he is in a safe place but will not reveal his location after laying low in the wake of weeks of anti-government protests. Call for Andry Rajoelina exit have ramped up after the military threw in its lot with GenZ demonstrators over the weekend. Also, there is shock and sadness amongst Ghanaian communities anxiously awaiting the outcome of a search mission after a boat capsized on the Volta Lake and at least 15 people were killed. And a landmark exhibition in Lagos celebrates the life and legacy of one of the city's most beloved sons. Called the Afrobeat Rebellion, it's kicked off the annual Celebration Festival honouring 70s icon, creative legend and political activist Fela Kuti. But first, it's still not clear where Madagascar president is. However, Andry Rajoelina has addressed the nation from an unknown location, saying that although he is sheltering in a safe space, he was forced to flee to protect his life. Now, there have been unconfirmed reports that Rajoelina fled on a French military plane. There have been growing calls for his resignation after an elite military unit turned against the government over the weekend to back weeks of youth-led protests. French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday night said that he could not immediately confirm reports that his country had held Rajoelina. But in his speech on Monday night, the Malagasy leader also called on the constitution to resolve the crisis surrounding his leadership. Earlier, I spoke to opposition MP Mamy Rabenirina and asked him for his take on what the military support of the protests could mean for Madagascar's political future.
After a very long time of very difficult and hectic life in Madagascar, what's happening now would be considered as a new opportunity for Madagascar as a country and for the people of Madagascar. An opportunity for a new way of life, a new way of developing the country, and of course, another way of having freedom.
The protests were originally begun by GenZ, by the youth. But then we've seen relatively quickly the involvement of all levels of society. Do you think that what comes next is going to be dictated by Madagascar's youth? Or do you think that the plan forward is going to be more of an intergenerational vision for Madagascar?
First of all, I would like to mention that the demonstrations started by the organization and invitation of our political party through the members of the municipal council of Antananarivo city. So they launched invitation to the people to demonstrate publicly to the place of the democracy, on which was scheduled for the 25th of September, to be heard by the authority, of course, but at the same time to be heard by the whole world. So the initiative came from the political party, but the youth, thanks to them, came to attend the meeting. So they came very massively in number. So we think it's a new way. It's, as I told you, it's a new opportunity for Madagascar and especially for the youth to take their responsibility for the future of the country.
Ma'am, do you think that there is a place for Rajoelina in what's next for Madagascar? Can he come back?
We, as people and as an opposition political party, we wished to keep him him in Madagascar and to answer many questions. But as we know, he could flee outside of Madagascar. So I think it would be very difficult for him to return, to get back to Madagascar. Otherwise, if he comes back to Madagascar, we would be very happy to welcome him at our own manner.
Madagascar opposition MP Mamy Rabenirina speaking to me a little earlier. Well, in Cameroon, both supporters of long-standing President Paul Biya and supporters of the opponent and former Minister Issa Chiroma Bakary are claiming to be leading the presidential race as vote counting is underway from Sunday's poll. 90-year-old Biya is the world's oldest serving head of state and is set on extending his 43 years in power with an 8th term. He's won every election over the past few decades with more than 70% of the vote. Results are expected to be announced within the next 15 days. And there's shock in Ghana amongst communities affected by a boat capsizing on Sunday. At least 15 people were killed in the accident, most of whom were children. Our correspondent tells us more.
The rescue team have now been dispatched to the area around where it is believed this accident happened, whilst arrangements are underway to bury those who have died. This incident happened around lunchtime on Saturday when a small boat carrying passengers who are believed to have been returning from a funeral capsized in the middle of a 2-hour journey. According to reports by the Ghana Maritime Authority, the boat was overloaded beyond its safe operational capacity. 16 people are now confirmed dead, with 11 being children.
We know those who are dead, we know their sexes, we know their ages, but those who survived, still, we haven't got a full picture of who are they, where do they live, what are their sexes.
Such boat accidents are common on Ghana's Volta Lake, the lake which is man-made, formed after the building of Ghana's first and largest electricity dam. The forested area, which became covered by the overrunning water, now has created tree stumps that stand in the way of fishermen and villagers living on more than 800 islands on this lake, causing some of these accidents, especially within the night.
Since the beginning of this year, at least there have been about 3 major incidents that have been reported, with a total loss of lives about 25.
The government says it has constituted a committee that is digging into the details of what could have led to this accident.
Justice Baidu there for us. Now, a landmark exhibition opens in Lagos to celebrate the life and legacy of one of the Nigerian city's most beloved sons. Called the Afrobeat Rebellion, it's kicked off the annual Celebration Festival, honouring 70s icon, creative legend and political activist Fela Kuti. Take a look.
Billed as an immersive multi-sensory journey, this latest exhibition celebrating the life and art of Fela Kuti has opened its doors in his hometown of Lagos. The Afrobeat Revolution exhibition was supported by the French Embassy in Nigeria and designed by members of the Kuti family.
There's so many things that we do to keep his message alive. And in myself, I like to be a proud African. That keeps his message alive. And people know me for that.
Fela Kuti's music blended jazz, funk and traditional Yoruba rhythms. He's widely credited with inventing a new musical style, Afrobeat. His musical genius accompanied his activism. Singing in English and Yoruba, Kuti's politically charged songs decried oppression, many of them focusing on Nigeria's military government.
This exhibition captures the diversity and complexity of Fela's life. He wasn't one-dimensional, he wasn't perfect in any ways, and I think this exhibition really interrogates and delves deep into different types
different aspects of his character.
Kuti's criticism of Nigeria's military regimes led to his imprisonment on multiple occasions. In 1977, soldiers even raided his house and set it alight, fatally injuring his mother, Funmilayo Rangsome Kuti, an important decolonial feminist figure herself. After a lifetime of struggle against Nigerian authorities, Fela Kuti has now been officially recognized by the government for his cultural influence and his activism.
You know, he was a disciplined musician who actually went to school to study music, and then his music transformed into fighting for the rights of the people. He was using his music to educate people, Nigerians, Africans.
27 years after his death, Fela Kuti is finally back home. Both his music and his message of emancipation feel more alive than ever.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa for now. Thanks very much for joining us, and do so again if you can. Till then, take care.